Hi, John Racine here, and welcome to this video. Today I want to cover a very important topic. It's the top 5 mistakes that I see on resumes every single day. And some of these you may be making unconsciously, you're not even aware. So I want to tell you today what I see are some of the biggest issues with resumes and help you to avoid them. So number 1 is, what information do you have listed at the top of your resume? Usually that's where you put your name, address, telephone number, and email address. Do you have your entire address and contact info there? If you do, I urge you to remove most of it. What do I think should be up there at the top of the resume? Well, number 1, your name. Number 2, your city and state, and the zip code if you like. Number 3, a telephone number. And number 4, your email address, okay? So, for example, John Smith, 123 Main Street, Anytown, USA, zip code 98765. Telephone number, 310-123-4567. Email, hotstuff22@yahoo.com. All right, that's way too much information and it's info overload over there. And what I highly recommend you do is put your name, your city and state, zip code if you want, a telephone number, and your email address. Don't put your street address on there. When you're applying on some of these job sites, these are sites that people can buy a subscription to screen resumes. So in my industry, in hospitality, we have hcareers.com, H for hospitality. I have a subscription for my company, so when I'm looking for a sales manager or a restaurant manager or a restaurant server, whatever it might be, I can go in and do a search, and it's based on the keywords that are in that resume. So I can now see all of the contact information for those people. Now, I'm doing it for good purposes, but there are people who will use that for information theft. So I highly encourage you to only put that basic information: name, city, state, contact telephone number, and an email address to get in touch with you. Now, maybe you don't even want to put your personal telephone number on there. You could easily get a Google number, put that on there, it would ring over to your cell phone. And then once you're done with your job search, you can cancel that Google number, stop the forwarding to your cell phone, and then you don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's an option there for you. So again, I recommend name, city, state, zip code if you want, your telephone number, and your email address that you want to use for contact. Continuing on, number 2, does your email address reflect somebody that a company wants to hire? So that hotstuff22@yahoo.com, that's probably not the best email address unless you're going to be a dancer, a performer in some entertainment venue. Really, you should try to stick to a more nondescript type of email address for an employer. We do see those email addresses, and we do think about what type of person would have a particular email address. So in my case, it's John Racine. So if I had John Racine at, let's say, gmail.com, which I do not have, that is not my email address, well, that's pretty good because it has my name. It's in a popular email program, Gmail. That one's pretty good. You know, but if we were using something like studette21@gmail.com, you know, I have to look as a hiring manager, as someone in human resources, and say, wow, that's a pretty risky email address to put on your resume, and that might result in some challenges in getting interviews. So I really encourage you to get a more nondescript email address, even if it's only for job application purposes. Keep your main one, keep your studette21, absolutely okay. I'm not telling you to change it, but what I'm telling you to do is for job purpose, one that's a little less descriptive and a little bit more you. So that's number 2. So number 1, your contact info. Number 2, your email address. Number 3, do you have a headshot in your resume? Now, I see this one a lot with foreigners because it's very common outside of the US in the document known as a CV or a curriculum vitae to put a headshot in the resume. Now, in America, that's not something we want to do unless you are in entertainment or applying for some type of artistic type role, actors, actresses, you know, there are appropriate times for a headshot. But in most industries, you don't need a headshot. You know, in America, we have a lot of anti-discrimination laws when it comes to employment, you know, over the age of 40 and genders and things like that. By putting that photo on there, you are allowing some subconscious discrimination potentially. Not everyone will do that. Now for me, I do get a lot of CVs from overseas, and before I send those over to a manager to review, I'm absolutely pulling those photos off of there because I don't want any potential discrimination. So if you have that on your resume or CV, if you are overseas and you're looking to come work in the US, I highly encourage you to remove that from your resume or from your CV for American purposes. Don't put it on there. Number 4, Your personal info, remove it. This is another thing that I see a lot in CVs, and I do see it on some resumes here in America. Things like marital status, number of children, age, things like that. Again, with our anti-discrimination laws in the United States, we don't need that information on your resume. There, again, are going to be some very, 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 very finite instances where that information would be appropriate. For example, maybe you are applying for a religious position. Catholic Charities, for example, is one that comes to mind. And maybe they're going to require you to be Catholic because of some requirement of the job. And that's actually known as a BFOQ, a bona fide occupational qualification. Don't worry about it now. It's not going to apply in most instances. And if you do have a question about it, let me know. Examples that I like to give when I instruct at UC Irvine on BFOQs, I'm a big fan of Disney, Disneyland, Disney World, the Disney Company. And for example, it would be very uncommon to put an Asian female in the role of, let's say, Pocahontas, because the nationality is all wrong. But we could take let's say a brunette and have her become Ariel from The Little Mermaid, because we can give it a red wig, and that's called an accommodation. And that's not so much what we're talking about here. We're really talking about that personal info of marital status, number of children, and things like that, even birth dates and age. If that info is on there, absolutely remove it. Most of the time, you absolutely will not need it. And number 5, my top 5 resume mistakes, and that is the objective statement. Back when I was in college and first coming into the working industry, an objective statement was absolutely critical. Now here's the thing, an objective statement should serve as a lead-in for you to talk about how you could benefit a company and what types of things you're looking for. Now, truthfully, nowadays, the objective statement, it's not critical, it's not important, and really what it does is it takes away some valuable real estate in your resume, because that's very important information, typically done right at the very top under your contact information, under your name, city, state, email, and contact telephone number. And that is incredibly valuable real estate. I'll give you a little bit of insight. I have done some work in internet marketing, so I have websites and I've done things for clients. And there's something known as SEO, search engine optimization. And in search engine optimization, we want to plug in keywords throughout the website. So if we're doing a weight loss website, for example, we're going to talk about weight loss in certain areas of the website. Now, with your resume, let me go back to a website really fast. We want that keyword to be in certain places, especially near the top of the page. So we want weight loss to maybe be in the header, maybe be in a heading in one of the subsections. On your resume, that objective area serves that same purpose, because what will happen now with a lot of these online application sites, they are using an algorithm to rank and rate your resume, and it's looking for keywords based on the job descriptions that have been posted for a given position. So when you're putting in your objective area up there, it could be helpful. Maybe you're looking for a bartender position, let's say, and you want to put, looking for a bartending position with a great growing company where I can grow and excel, okay? That's a pretty average objective statement, but it's a basic objective statement. So we've got bartending, bartender up there in that section. And I think that there's much better ways to utilize that incredibly valuable real estate in that objective area. So I'm going to highly recommend that you take out the objective statement and use it for some more important and valuable information where you can put some really important keywords that are going to relate directly to your position. Those are my top 5 mistakes. Now, I've put together a guide that shows you a ton more of the top resume mistakes and suggestions that I have. You can find that at gettingyourperfectjob.com/resume. Give me your email address and I'll send that over to you. Put your comments here on this page on YouTube below the video or over on the website at gettingyourperfectjob.com. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your questions, and I'm here to answer those and serve as a resource for you. For today, I'm John Racine. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video.